hey, this will be good because so every week we're going to be doing more like in-depth trainings. The purpose of this week's training was to be more like overview of the technology to like kind of learn how to navigate it. But since we've got Josh on the call, I might make a little bit more of a tailored training for you, Greg. Um,
Okay.
because Josh, are you a broker in Austin too, or are you more of just like on the team that helps work with the brokers, Josh?
I'm a broker. Well, I'm not the broker. I'm not the designated broker, but yeah, I have my broker's license.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm an agent.
Perfect. Okay, well, this will be like perfect example of basically leveraging the technology to do 90% of the work to find profitable deals and then working with people like Josh and his team to help verify it and actually go execute it. So I'll just go and kick us off because we're only gonna have about 30 minutes and I want to do about 10 to 20 minutes of like training and then have it be, a lot of Q&A and stuff. And it's a small group today, at least in the beginning as we kick these off. So feel free to have some questions even throughout this journey. Um, Let me zoom back out here and just kind of give an overview. Because Josh, have you been in the app at all yet?
No.
Okay, so I'm gonna get it from like a high level, and I'm gonna zoom in, and I'm gonna show you an actual deal you can buy right now that is profitable, and would like Josh's even opinion on it because it's in his neck of the woods in the hill country of Texas, and you can apply these same principles for really anywhere else in the country that you do this. So, um, y'all both know me, so I don't really need to introduce myself. But for those that, this is recorded for, Matt Sanderson, founder of StrIQ. We've got Leslie on the call as well, who is our customer success lead. And so we're here to answer, questions for you guys. And the reason we're doing this community is we want to make it free, educational, very focused on training. And we just did $1 million fundraise for our technology. And so what we want to be able to do is work with you guys to improve and enhance the technology we're building so that we can basically build the tech that we would all want together. And essentially we're becoming the Zillow for STR investors, but we want to become even better than that. So that's kind of the overview, high level of just StrIQ in general. And so when you get on the app, really what it's solving for is, like Greg, when you're searching for deals right now, and Josh, you're probably going to Zillow, you're probably going to AirDNA, and then you're going to spreadsheets. And it's like one at a time, like trying to pick needles in the haystack. And so what we do is we syndicate, we pull in all the MLS properties across the country, or the ones that we've got access to. We've got access to like 100 MLSs across the country. And then what we do is we put revenue projections on top of every single one of those properties. Not only one revenue number, but we show like low, medium, high. And then we underwrite every single one of those properties. And so within a click of a button, the COC button, you can essentially underwrite the entire country at the same time. And so if you're an investor, these are all active properties for sale that you can go buy right now. Then all you have to do is put in your filters of what you want. And so typically what I like to do is use this cash on cash return filter. And I usually like to do like 10% cash on cash return. There's some scenarios where I'll do like maybe a low cash on cash because I know there's ways to get the revenue up. And this is where, guys like Josh will come in, that will work with you, Greg, that's like, hey, on average, it's showing this, but hey, if you're better than average revenue, you could be this mid-scale or upscale. And that's where sometimes you can force that cash on cash higher by just simply making your revenue better. But at the very least, I like to have a bottom cash on cash number of like, I don't know, five or something like that, just to kind of filter out everything else. And then, Greg, let me ask you this, for you're looking, maybe the next 30 to 120 days, how much cash do you have to deploy into a property?
Well, I'm going to do a partnership deal on this one, but it's going to be somewhere in the 300 range.
300 to actually put down for the down payment plus the capital?
Plus the capital. Yeah, we're looking in the Catskills right now. We're looking for 8, 10, 12 acre properties where we can do a little couples retreat and then do forested trails and pavilions and barrel saunas. So none of that, nobody's going to have that. So we're having to build it.
Oh yeah, that'll be perfect. Yeah. And yeah, we're I'm actually under contract for a deal in Fredericksburg where it's going to be on 6 acres and it's currently 7 bedrooms, but we're going to be building out more like these casita things. So that's where you can get some crazy numbers. And you could add all that stuff in the underwriting. So in this example, usually I like to find properties that are making like minimum 100,000 in revenue or more. So it kind of sets your baseline layers there. And then, you could always do like a minimum purchase price and all that stuff too. And then we're going to be adding features like waterfront, swimming pool, like some of these other key things you would want from amenities. So those are all coming soon. But for now, this is kind of a good reference point. And so it'll underwrite essentially the entire country at the same time based on those metrics. So right now, it's literally millions of properties that it's like currently running numbers on. And then now you see all the red is gone, and now it's just yellow and green that are left. And so now there's all these properties everywhere that are pre-underwritten for you that you can go in and check out and see like all the numbers. So that's kind of the high level of the StrIQ app. Now I want to get into more of like a specific example of how you can find a property.
Hang on a second, man. Let me ask you a question. I've been in it several times.
Yep.
Where do I click on to get this type of feature? Because I remember it in the presentation, but I've never gotten to this United States cash on cash. I put in like the
Okay.
specific destinations, what I usually do.
Okay, so you go up here to like this search bar thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is something again we're learning as we work with our customers too. I usually don't use the search bar thing yet.
Okay.
What I would do if I were you is just do the zoom feature with your hands or with your fingers
Okay. All
and then
right.
zoom in over the areas you're most interested in. And then
Okay.
once you've identified the areas you're interested in, then do your filters on top of that. And that's one of the best ways to look at it. Eventually, we'll have more sophisticated search feature, including AI on top of it. We just haven't really gotten there yet.
All right. All right. Cool.
Um, so all that to say, I'm going to take you into the hill country real quick, and you can use these same principles for the areas you're looking. So like, let me give you all like a couple of examples here. So the hill country of Texas has becoming, a lot more popular. And I had a client basically come to me and he was like, "Hey man, would love for your help finding a property." It's like, "Well, how about you get on the StrIQ app and see what you can find?" And he was kind of like you, Greg. He's like, "Yeah, I've kind of played with it, but I don't really know how to use it yet." And I was like, "Well, let me show you exactly how I would use it." And I was like, "Well, the hill country is kind of interesting. There's a lot of growth. It's right outside of Austin, San Antonio, and it's drivable distance to that." So I just did this cash on cash button as I looked in on the area. There's a lot of red, which means negative cash on cash. And then I did anything over like 10% cash on cash return, anything over like 100 grand of revenue. And boom, it takes away everything except for like this needle in the haystack. And so this deal right here, it says under contract. It's because I actually found this deal the way I just showed y'all, sent it over to him, and he said, "Sweet, I like it." He went and toured it. He's under contract and he's actually closing today on it. So this is a real property we were buying, and it's kind of like the one you were talking about, Greg. It's on a lot of acreage,
Mm-hmm.
and it's multiple homes on it. So there's 3 houses, and there's 2 barns, and so there's like there's like a little creek thing that you could turn into like a lake in the back. And funny enough, Michael Elefante is actually buying the property literally next door. So on B&B Investor Academy, he's going to be hyping up this like huge 10-acre hill country property. It's literally the property on like the property line to the one we're we're buying. So and he's going to be doing some crazy stuff on that. So what happened is we find this property, it shows the potential. Now, this is where you would work with like Josh or other brokers to understand what you could do for the purchase price. Here, I was a broker, so I knew I could negotiate. So I went down to 2245, and that was a purchase price on this deal. And then here's what's cool is like AirDNA gives you that one number. We give you three revenue numbers. like a low, medium, high. And so we're showing on the mid scale 50th percentile, you can make about 400, but on the upper end, you might can make like 600. And what's fun about that is Michael Elefante told me for his property, he's expecting 600 grand in revenue on his. So it was just fun validation that it's possible. But what we're going to do is underwrite it based on the mid scale to be more conservative. Um, this is where you would need to manually add in your capital. In the future, we'll try to do some more like automated capital expenses added. But here it's a mega property, so we're probably going to need to do like, I don't know, 300 and maybe 200. So 500 all in, maybe more. He's maybe not going to manage this thing, um, or he might manage it. So we'll just do a 0% management fee for now. But that's where you can add in like management fee and all that stuff. And then we have everything else already underwritten on the expenses that are already being pulled in. And we show how we get each of those numbers there. But the point is to help you underwrite these things real fast. Now, Greg, are you going to have any livestock on your property up north?
No,
Okay.
no.
Well, one thing, and I don't know if this is just Texas based, but we're gonna have like goats and stuff. There's already goats on this property. So you get this ag exemption. So your taxes here are
Oh,
already estimated at 37 grand. Well, it's gonna basically get cut in half because of just the ag exemption. So that's one way you could actually reduce your taxes
oh,
if you have, an ag exemption on your property. And then we have everything else already pre-added. He is doing a second home loan, 10% down. Actually, I think it's like 11% down on this product. And it's like 7.25% interest rate, I believe. And then closing costs added there. So this is where you're able to see like your principal interest, taxes, insurance. Actually, I think it's maybe like seven. So it's about, yeah, 15 grand all in. And this shows your total cash required is on this one, it's a big mega property. His
mm,
down payment plus that 500 grand of capital. And boom, this is a 20% cash on cash return, makes 13 grand a month in net cash flow. And then you're able to have like your full detailed report at the very end that shows like your high level metrics. And then so what's cool is I did this exact same thing for a property I found in Fredericksburg. I underwrote it based on all the data I thought was practical. And then I just clicked this button up here and I sent a text message to my father-in-law's fiance. And I said, hey, check out this sick property in Fredericksburg. It makes 20% cash on cash. You can go buy this thing. She's like, sounds good. Where do I write the check? And I'm literally just went under contract for that yesterday. So I've bought three deals already personally doing this exact same thing I just showed y'all. Um, and if you don't have the capital, you can literally just find the property and then just send it to capital partners and see if they'll go do it with you. So this is a good way to like find these things and try to go buy some deals even if you don't have the capital for it. And then final thing on this, and I'll open it for questions, is once you find the property, you're ready to go buy it. This is where you're going to need strike or you're going to need vetted lenders, agents, contractors, all those people. And so what we try to do is get vetted partners like Josh to come in and be on the app to help facilitate a really smooth experience. And so Josh, I think we actually need to get you and your team on here as well to where, Greg, you can reach out and find a good designer or a contractor or a cleaner or whoever on the actual property to make it a really easy and nice, transaction. So that from a high level, that's the StrIQ app and the whole purpose of what it's supposed to do. There's some other tech we've got, but I'll pause on that for now. Any questions on the app?
I think that's pretty
no.
cool, Matt. Like, I think that's the problem that we're having. And maybe you give me a little bit too much credit. Blake is definitely the team lead. He's the vet of the STR. I'm kind of learning and more like lead management and stuff like that. So that's why I'm on the call too, is to start learning how to underwrite these deals and getting properties to to investors.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so this looks like it'll be very useful for us because that's our biggest problem is finding enough properties.
Yeah. And that's the thing. like what I'm realizing is, I mean, that's the whole purpose of why we built the Strike app in the first place. It's really hard to find profitable deals, right? And if you take a cookie cutter approach to it, like sometimes you can find them, like the one I just found. But I'm going to show you all another one to where sometimes you got to dive a little bit further. Um, to actually find a profitable deal. And this is where Josh, like you as an agent, can be learning how to do this to then start sending deals to people and to clients. Like, hey, I know initial look, this probably didn't look like it was going to be good, but hey, after I reduced the price, juiced up the revenue, put in some capital, reduced the interest rate, all these things. Hey, this one actually looks pretty good. So like, here's an example of one I will show y'all. I think it's right here. So this is Canyon Lake, Texas, kind of between Austin and San Antonio. Um, and so this deal I found the other day. There it is at. There it is. Okay. Josh, are you familiar with this property in Canyon Lake?
No.
All right, this one's for sale. So Greg, you or Josh or anyone else that's on this call or listening, I actually almost bought this property. I'll tell you why I didn't later. Um, But really cool property. It's got like all the cool amenities you could find. And on the Strike Comps dashboard, which we'll probably talk about more next week, it's one of I think maybe the second highest performing Airbnb in Canyon Lake. So it's an active Airbnb. It's making at least 140,000 in revenue right now, but has made up to 160,000. And I think on this year it's on track for 160,000 in revenue. So this property is initially a red negative property. Now, why? Well, because the comps that we're seeing in Canyon Lake are showing about $75,000 in average revenue, right? Well, here's what's cool. If you go analyze this thing, even if you didn't, well, before we do that, if you read in the description here, it says in 2023 it made 160 grand. In 2024, it made 142 grand. So it's like, okay, that's interesting. We're going to start using AI to extract a lot of that stuff and help us with our analysis. But for now, it's a little bit more manual. But here it's like, oh, it made that. That's good, for me to know in this situation. So now I can go analyze, maybe keep the price the same or go down to like 950. But if you look here, low, medium, high, or mid-scale, upscale, premium, what do you see on the premium? It actually shows 145,000 in revenue, which is like exactly what it said it is making currently. And so why is that? Well, we underwrite every single property in the country as if it's an average property because we don't want to lead anyone astray. Like Greg, we don't want to be like, hey, here's this property, it makes $1 million, like we want to be very conservative with our estimates and let you juice it up if you feel like you can make it, because it usually takes capital to get to that upper threshold. Well, here, now it's been verified that this property actually does make 140 or more. So let's go rerun these numbers on this. It's already an active Airbnb right now, so you technically don't need to do anything to the property from a capital perspective. Say you manage it on your own. We've got everything else already underwritten there for you. So go to financing. Say you do 10% down second home loan on it, 7% interest. Uh, and I'm a huge fan of the whole 10% down second home loan thing. Um, this takes a little over 100 grand to buy this thing, and it's a 23% cash on cash return, makes 2 grand a month of cash flow. And boom, here it is. So this is one I found like randomly the other day. And the reason I did not buy it, there's a couple reasons why. And this is where like you would need like a Josh or a Blake. So when you go back to the purchase price here, it's $958,000. So the numbers look good, but when you look at the cost per square foot and you look at your comps in the market, comps are like kind of closer to like 250. So me looking at it, it's a good deal. It's not bad if like you're wanting to buy a deal and just like have it cash flowing immediately, but you're buying the property at the top part of the comps. you can't really force appreciate it. You can't really force more revenue because it's already one of the best performing Airbnbs. So really, there's no more real upside to it. It's just kind of like that's what it is because they've already extracted a lot of the value from it. So it's a good long-term hold, an easy deal to buy, but I'm looking more for like the deals that have like big acreages I can buy and put multiple properties on and really like force appreciate and force lots of revenue potential above it, above and beyond. So that's why the deal was not right for me, but it might be right for someone else. And honestly, the property is awesome. Like it already has like pickleball court and all that stuff on it. So um, it might be right for the right investor out there. I don't know. Josh, thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I like it a lot. I mean, it's like you said, it's already done. They've already went through and did everything that they're going to be able to do with that property. So I can see why some people might, a lot of clients do want to go in bare bones and make it happen in their vision. This one's
Yeah.
just kind of, turnkey, just go
Yeah.
in and do it, which, there's definitely a lot of people who are interested in that too. And so,
Yeah.
we might try to get somebody to go buy that one. So thank you.
Yeah. And
I
that'd be
did have
awesome.
yeah, that would be awesome. That'd be, like a nice case study for you. A question I had about how this scrubs the MLS for listings
Yeah.
and properties, like, because as you know, one of the major hurdles is finding properties that actually can be a short-term rental. How does this eliminate properties?
Well, I mean, so again, we're doing that big $1 million fundraise. And one of the major things we're going to be focused on is leveraging AI to understand STR regulations in a lot of these markets. Now, you've got market specific STR regulations, and then you have even like HOA specific
Mhm.
regulations. And even like Fredericksburg, Texas, as an example, like, um, where's it at?
To the right.
There it is. Yeah. So like Fredericksburg, let me reset that. Okay. So like right in this area, you have to have like a permit, but as you get outside of that, it's called the ETJ where you don't have to have a permit. So there's kind of like even border restrictions. So right now we don't have regulation info in it in the app or the technology itself, but it's going to be one of our major focuses. And so we have a couple of ideas of how we would do that. One, you can leverage AI to actually like bring that information together, which will help get you, most of the way there. But we've also thought about the idea of, like, have y'all ever used Waze, like the app Waze for like quick, oops, here, I'll just get off the phone for now. Have y'all
Yes.
used Waze, like the
Mhm.
mobile app, whatever?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
one thing that's cool about Waze is it's the community that's helping each other navigate and avoid potholes and potential issues. So that's why we really wanted to build this community is because we might be able to crowdsource a lot of this information about restrictions and regulations and then put AI on top of that and then infuse it into the technology so that the community is able to help make the product even better. So that's something that we're thinking about doing to help with the STR restrictions.
Oh, cool. Very good to know. Thank you.
But in the short term, that's why we're very focused on having great partnerships with agents and local professionals so that you guys can help validate and verify a lot of that with customers.
I
Um,
mean, I'm not sure how much you can share, like what level it is, but like what does it like scrub for when it says, hey, this property can do this? Like, I don't necessarily need to know how the sausage is made, but like, um, how or of course we want to know how trustworthy the information is, and is it missing stuff? Like, are there any blind spots that we need to kind of keep an eye out for when looking at this?
yeah, well, and this is where I'm going to want to do some training with you guys next week on the comps dashboard
Mhm.
because the app helps you get there fast to like find these opportunities. But really, what you're saying is like, how confident can I be in this? Like, if I'm about to
Well,
make
then
a
I'm not missing a bunch of stuff too.
right. So so like what you want to be able to do then is the revenue is like the biggest piece, like one of the biggest pieces of this. Everything else is pretty easy. And so the revenue is like, okay, well, how did we come up with these revenue estimates, right? And even if it's the conservative mid scale, it's like, am I sure, right? Well, that's where you'll want to use the comps dashboard to be able to look at your comps. And so I'll give you all just a quick preview of that. I think we've got just a few minutes here, and then I'll stop it. Um, can y'all see this here?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay,
I've
so
used that.
you've used the comps dashboard? Okay.
Hmm.
So the comps dashboard is really, really cool because um, you can essentially, let me click on these comps, pull up these comps in this market, and it shows you for this particular comp, it's a three bedroom, two bath, and we're saying it makes about $102,000. And, you know, no data is probably going to be like perfect on the dot, but it should be pretty close. Where this number is telling you what we think it could have made if the entire calendar was open. So like there's owner stays that, you block off calendar and stuff. So, this number could be accurate, but what I would say is, this is what we think it actually made, and it actually made this probably for a reason. So I would probably be more focused on looking at these as your comps. And so in a nutshell, what happens is out of these 497 comps for deep well, if you look at, let's call it five bedrooms on the lake or close to the lake, it's gonna update and scrub all these comps, and it's going to say, hey, there's 12 comps in your area within a 5 mile radius, and we're taking out all the bad data, anything that's less than 15 reviews, anything less than 4 stars, anything that's less, hadn't been on the market, available for listing for 275 days. Again, these are Airbnb comps. And what it does is it shows you this range of revenue. So it says mid scale can make about 70 grand, which sounds right. Upscale could make about 122,000, but if you're premium, you might could make 188. And if you remember on the app, it showed about 140 grand on that premium. So this is showing me maybe I could make a little bit more on that property, but maybe a little, I don't know, we'll see. And so what you do is you go and say, okay, well, if that's possible, let's go to this table view and let's go filter from top to bottom revenue. And let's go see all the top comps. And you can go to the listings and you can see like, hey, here's some of the top comps around you. Here's what they look like. I'm not on a river, so I probably can't do what that one's doing. So that one's probably too aggressive on comps. But let's just see if there's anything else that's interesting. Let's see. Again, that one has like a pool and like a cool lake view. So you're able to get in there and see like what's different about these comps versus this property to understand, okay, where should I fall within that? And, I would say probably in this like 122,000, but it's cool knowing that that property is actually doing somewhere in between there. So that's where this kind of becomes a little bit of a science in quickly identifying that property, but then using that comps dashboard to really understand what your comps look like. So you feel more confident about which number you could probably expect. So,
Wow. Yeah, this is impressive, dude. I like it.
well, thank you. Well, I know it's 2 o'clock. Maybe let's do, if anyone needs to drop, feel free to drop, but I'll stay on for another 5, 10 minutes for any questions uh, from anyone that's still on the call.
Will this recording be on the school?
Yes.
Sweet.
So what we'll do is every time we have a training or a call, we'll record it and then we'll post it to the school after. So that way, if y'all miss future calls, we can post them and y'all can watch them later.
Sweet. Thank you.
Hey, Josh, tell tell Blake to send me y'all's info so I can get y'all on the app too.
Okay, I will. I want to make sure I do have your info. I'm pretty sure I do. I have two Matt Sandersons. Do you have a Gmail too?
That other guy, no plan. You just use my StrIQ email.
Okay, that's what I thought. I'll stop talking to the other Matt.
Yeah. Hey, Greg,
Yeah.
on the app, so the cat skills. So if you were to pull up Zillow right now, do you know what MLS the cat skills is in?
I don't know. However, I can put in a house that I am looking at
Okay.
and
So
probably get it.
just for clarity, there's about 500 MLSs across the country.
Mm-hmm.
We have to go sign an agreement with every single MLS that we pull in the app. Um, so that's why honestly no one else is doing what we're doing, uh, because it's so difficult to go get all these MLSs, but we figured it out. And so if there's a MLS or an area that you don't see in the app, all you got to do is tell me or Leslie, and we will go out and get that MLS and pull it into the app.
Okay. How do you know which region's which? Is the first three numbers or something?
So on Zillow, it'll say like Cat Skills MLS or like Fredericksburg is the Central Hill Country Board of Realtors.
Yeah, down here it says Catskill Region MLS.
So what you'll need to do is take that MLS, copy it,
Mm-hmm.
and paste it and post it in school or email Leslie or me, and we will
Okay,
go out to go get those MLSs.
great.
If you wanna just drop it in the chat now, Greg, I can go ahead and I'll copy it and paste it into.
Oh, I'm on my cell phone
Okay, you're
because
fine.
yeah, I'd have to do it
Yeah,
afterwards. Or I believe my wife's on this call, so she might be able to do it right now. So I saw her name pop up a little while ago.
gotcha.
I was chatting with her a little bit.
Crystal, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Hey, and what's cool is so the app again is MLS revenue underwriting. Um,
Hmm.
so we've got revenue for the whole country. So like the comps dashboard should work basically everywhere. Tell us, if you see a market that there's not in there, we should be able to do that real easy. It's the MLS portion that takes a little bit of time. So the app has MLS revenue underwriting. The comps dashboard only has just the revenue piece of it is how those two work together.
Okay, I see. Because I didn't see the underwriting part of it, but I did see the comps part of it. So I've
Right.
been looking at that all weekend and going through and trying to compare the two kind of old school style.
Yeah.
That's why I was so interested in the beginning. That underwriting method there is that's pretty slick.
Well,
So
thank you.
yeah, that's that's something else. So so currently, it sounds like you've got the comps in the area, but you need the MLS area region for to get the rest of it up, right?
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
Yep. And then just a heads up, we are building towards what we're calling StrIQ 2.0, which is a fully
Mm-hmm.
integrated technology where it's going to be on web and mobile. And the comps and the MLS or the app and the comps dashboard will be like fully integrated. And we're going to have AI on top of that. And so what will be fun is we want y'all's feedback of what you like, don't like, or wish we had, and we can literally just go build exactly what you guys want. So,
Wow.
it'll be fun. Like we're a startup company working with our customers to just build exactly what you guys want. And so we want to have a lot of engagement to make sure that the product is delivering a ton of value.
Excellent. Yeah, we're excited about the 2.0 rollout. So,
We are
um,
actively designing it right now. And so what we're going to be doing is posting visuals of it in the school community and just getting y'all's feedback on it. And so we're building the blueprint for it right now. And once that's finalized, we're going to then go implement it.
right. Very well. I think my wife posted that MLS number in the chat, so
Okay,
y'all have got that.
perfect.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm excited to get home and play with it again tonight. So,
One other thing for clarity, so the app only works on iPhone and iPad and Mac computers.
yeah, it's me. I've
It
got a
was
Mac.
okay, so it was mostly built for the iPhone, but we found out later it actually works for Mac and iPads. And then the comps dashboard mostly works on the web, but also works pretty well on iPads and kind of works on your mobile, but it's not a very good experience yet. So just a heads up that you typically want to do comps dashboard on web and then you know, this on your phone or even your Mac computer. It just goes a little bit slower on the Mac.
Mhm. All right. All right.
Well, awesome. Any other questions before we jump off to the
Uh,
next one?
how long does this Monday thing last? How many weeks are you doing it?
Leslie?
Right now, we are doing 12 weeks. We'll have 12 weeks of
It's-
training. And then, I mean, hopefully, we'll just continue to do it week after week after week. And then we also are having open office hours on Wednesdays. It'll be an hour of just open questions. So it's not anything specific that I'll cover. It'll be with me. It'll just be if you have a question and you want to hop on there and ask real quick, you can. You can stay and listen to other people's questions if they're there. You can stay and just hang out with me and talk about nothing, or whatever it is that you need.
All
It'll
right.
be on Wednesdays. I believe it's from. Let me just double check the time. Um, Wednesdays from 1 to 2 Central
Is
Time.
that Central Time? So
Yes.
2 to 3 my time. All right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And I'll put
Hey, and
little
Josh?
reminders in school too.
Great.
Yes,
Perfect.
sir.
Hey, Josh, I was going to tell you one thing we're going to be doing, and Greg, you can do this too. As you find deals, even if you find it on Zillow, like say we don't have the cat skills yet, but you find something interesting, you could post it to the group. And this is where we want the group to help validate and verify numbers. So what you could do is you could find a deal, even on Zillow, throw it on the chat and say, "Hey, Matt, found this cool deal. I think it could work, maybe. How much do you think it can make?" And then I could go analyze it because I've been working on this for 5+ years. So there's a lot of like nuances that I know that some people may not know. And I could give you my feedback on the actual community. And that way the
Mhm.
community is learning together as we go.
Great.
Cool.
Great.
That's helpful.
We'll
And same
probably
with you, Josh. Like you guys know the hill country of Texas really well. If there's investors looking there and they're throwing out deals, like y'all could jump on there and start verifying and validating restrictions, revenue numbers, all that stuff.
Sweet. I'm excited.
I am
yeah,
too.
me too.
Well, this was a fun first call. So we will just continue to build off of this. And Leslie, after we're done, she will take this recording, post it in the group. And again, yeah, we're gonna have open hours on Wednesday, and we are here to be a resource for y'all anytime you need it.
Yep.
Fantastic. Thanks, Matt.
I think next week our topic will be mastering comps. So we'll dig a little bit more into all of that stuff.
And
Sweet.
Yep.
that's at the same time. That's at the same time I take it.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. Good deal.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, hey, thanks everyone for jumping on.
Thanks, Matt,
Thank
Leslie.
you.
Y'all have a good day.
Yeah, you
Okay, y'all have a
too.
good one.